Are you ready?
So someone asked earlier, what is the shift trick? And let me tell you, because this is, if you're going to use the selection tool, which I highly recommend because it makes things so much faster, this is a really, really important trick to get down early. I wish I did. So, first of all, the selection tool works in two ways. You can grab the corners, which will let you adjust dynamically your selection based on where the corner is, or you can grab the sides. And whenever a side turns blue, that's the selector, and you can then only drag from that side. So I do recommend using sides for selections, especially if you're doing smoothing tricks, because that gives you the most control. Because if you grab by a corner, then you have an X and a Y. But if you grab by a side, you only have an X or a Y, or a Z. So it makes it so it's a lot easier to make sure you don't mess up your selection. And this is really good when you're doing big selections. Like I had to go back and smooth out the whole of my ship. You can see it's smooth down there now. And I actually made a large section and then made a larger and then made a larger and kind of worked out that way. So it's a really good tip. So that being said, here is the shift trick. So when you click on a pane to move it, so right now, for instance, I need to make a border around this, because this actually goes into another trick that we know, which is whenever you're smoothing with selection, always make a 1 voxel border. A 1 voxel border will allow it to smooth properly, where if you do it just with the selection bumping up against what you're doing, it will not smooth properly. Always do a voxel border. So that being said, I know I'm just throwing out like random tips here and not being really cogent, but use them all and be happy. So what we're going to be doing here, we want to put a 1 voxel border around this. So there's two ways we could do it, and this is what I used to do. I used to drag out, reposition myself, which could sometimes, especially in bad, if you're like on the edge of a ship, this can be a real hassle, and then do this. That's how I used to do it. Now what I'm going to do is put it back how it was, so I can show you this. So here's where it was before I moved. Here is the shift trick. When you hold down shift using the selection tool, your mouse will fall through the first selected plane and, if applicable, select the one behind it. So watch what happens when I hold down shift. You see how the back plane just lit up? So what you can do is when you get a selection, don't move, and get in the habit of doing this. Make it a goal not to move your feet. Hold down shift, grab, and then you can drag on that side. Boom. Once you get in the habit of doing this, it gets so much faster. You don't have to move. You can just plant your feet, and yeah, it really does make things a lot easier. So see, like right here, shift goes to the bottom, and we can then drag the bottom around. So very cool. That's the whole trick. That's the whole shift trick right there.